Hello students, welcome to the session on adsorption. Today I am going to speak about a phenomenon called adsorption. To help you understand the phenomenon, let me start with an example. If we place a piece of charcoal in the refrigerator, it will prevent the odor of food lingering inside. Similarly, miners use gas masks that are filled with powdered activated charcoal in order to protect themselves from poisonous gases that may be present inside the mines. How do these two examples work? In both the examples, the odor-giving vapors in the refrigerator and the poisonous gases in the mines get adsorbed onto the charcoal and activated charcoal respectively. So, what exactly is adsorption? Adsorption is the adhesion of atoms, ions or molecules from a gas, liquid or dissolved solid to a surface. The word adsorption was coined in 1881 by German physicist Heinrich Kaiser. This process creates a film of the adsorbate on the surface of the adsorbent. This process differs from absorption, in which a fluid, the absorbate, permeates or is dissolved by a liquid or solid, the absorbent. Therefore, to distinguish between adsorption and absorption, adsorption is a surface phenomenon and occurs only on the surface of the adsorbent. Here, the concentration of adsorbent is different from the bulk. Absorption, on the other hand, is a bulk phenomenon, that is, occurs throughout the body of the material. Here, the concentration is the same throughout the material. The reverse of adsorption is called desorption. If both processes, adsorption and absorption, are taking place, we call it sorption. Once again, let me reiterate that adsorption is a surface phenomenon. So, what causes adsorption? The situation existing at the surface of a liquid or a solid is different from that in the interior. For example, a molecule in the interior of a liquid is completely surrounded by other molecules on all sides, and hence the intermolecular forces of attraction are exerted equally in all directions. However, a molecule at the surface of a liquid phase has fewer molecules in the vapor phase, that is, in the space above the liquid surface. As a result, these molecules lying at the surface experience some net inward force of attraction which causes surface tension. Similar inward forces of attraction exist at the surface of a solid. Alternatively, in case of certain solids such as transition metals like nickel, there are unutilized free valencies at the surface. Because of the unbalanced inward forces of attraction or free valencies at the surface, liquids and solids have a property to attract and retain the molecules of a gas or a dissolved substance onto their surfaces with which they come in contact. Types of adsorption. An experimental study of the adsorption of various types of solids shows that there are two main types of adsorption. Let me explain each of the two types briefly. First, physical adsorption or van der Waals adsorption or physisorption. When a gas is held or adsorbed on the surface of a solid by van der Waals forces, which are weak intermolecular forces of attraction, without resulting into any formation of chemical bond between the adsorbate and the adsorbent, it is called physical adsorption or van der Waals adsorption or physisorption. This type of adsorption is characterized by low heats of adsorption, that is about 20 to 40 kilojoules per mole. Further, physical adsorption of a gas by a solid is generally reversible. Increase of pressure causes more gas to be adsorbed, and the release of pressure frees the adsorbed gas. Similarly, decrease of temperature increases adsorption, but gas adsorbed at low temperature can be freed again by heating. Next, chemical adsorption or chemisorption. When a gas is held on to the surface of a solid by forces similar to those of a chemical bond, the type of adsorption is called chemical adsorption or chemisorption. This type of adsorption results into the formation of what is called surface compound. That the force involved is similar to that of chemical bond is confirmed by the fact that the heat evolved during chemisorption is high, that is between 200 and 400 kilojoules per mole. This is of the same magnitude as that involved in chemical reactions. Further, as chemisorption is something similar to a chemical change, it is usually irreversible. The efforts to free the adsorbed gas often gives some definite compound instead of a free gas. For example, oxygen adsorbed on tungsten or carbon is liberated as tungsten oxide or as carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide. Another aspect in which chemisorption differs from physical adsorption is the fact that whereas physical adsorption takes place between every gas and solid, it is not specific in nature because it involves van der Waals forces which exist among the molecules of every two substances. We need to remember that chemisorption is specific in nature and occurs only where there is a tendency towards compound formation between the gas and adsorbent. Further, unlike physical adsorption, the chemical adsorption, like most chemical changes, increases with increase of temperature. For this reason, a gas may be physically adsorbed at low temperature but chemisorbed at higher temperatures. For example, it happens in the case of adsorption of hydrogen on nickel. When chemisorption takes place by raising the temperature, that is by supplying activation energy, the process is called activation adsorption. Factors affecting adsorption. Almost all solids adsorb gases to some extent. However, the exact amount of a gas adsorbed depends upon a number of factors. Let me take up the factors one by one. First, nature and surface area of the adsorbent. It is observed that the same gas is adsorbed to different extents by different solids at the same temperature. Further, as may be expected, the greater the surface area of the adsorbent, greater is the volume of the gas adsorbed. It is for this reason that substances like charcoal and silica gel are excellent adsorbents because they have highly porous structures and hence large surface areas. For the same reason, finely divided substances have larger adsorption power than when they are present in the compact form. Since the surface area of adsorbents cannot be determined readily, the common practice is to express the gas adsorbed per gram of the adsorbent. Second, nature of the gas being adsorbed. Different gases are adsorbed to different extents by the same adsorbent at the same temperature. Generally, more easily liquefiable gases get adsorbed more readily. So, we see that gases like ammonia and carbon dioxide get adsorbed more readily than gases like hydrogen and nitrogen. Third, temperature. The relationship between temperature and adsorption is slightly more complex and depends on the type of adsorption. Generally, however, it is observed that adsorption decreases with increase in temperature and vice versa. How do you explain this? Like any other equilibrium, adsorption is a process involving a true equilibrium. The two opposing processes involved are condensation, that is adsorption of the gas molecules on the surface of the solid, and evaporation, that is desorption of the gas molecules from the surface of the solid onto the gaseous phase. Moreover, the process of condensation is exothermic, so that the equilibrium may be represented as shown here. Applying Le Chatelier's principle, it can be seen that increase of temperature decreases the adsorption and vice versa. Fourth, pressure. At constant temperature, the adsorption of a gas increases with increase of pressure. It is observed that at low temperature, the adsorption of a gas increases very rapidly as the pressure is increased from small values. Various theories have been put forward to explain the dependence of adsorption on pressure. We will not be able to go into detail during this discussion. Applications of adsorption. Adsorption finds extensive applications both in research and laboratory and in industry. A few applications are briefly described. First, in preserving vacuum. In Dewar flasks, activated charcoal is placed between the walls of the flask so that any gas which enters into the annular space, either due to glass imperfection or diffusion through glass, is adsorbed. Second, in gas masks. All gas masks are devices containing suitable adsorbent so that the poisonous gases present in the atmosphere are preferentially adsorbed and the air for breathing is purified. Third, in clarification of sugar. Sugar is decolorized by treating sugar solution with charcoal powder. The latter absorbs undesirable colors present. Fourth, in chromatographic analysis. The selective adsorption of certain substances from a solution by a particular solid adsorbent has helped to develop a technique for separation of components of the mixture. This technique is called chromatographic analysis. For example, in column chromatography, a long and wide vertical tube is filled with a suitable adsorbent and the solution of the mixture poured from the top and then collected one by one from the bottom. Fifth, in catalysis. The action of certain solids as catalysts is best explained in terms of adsorption. The theory is called adsorption theory. According to this theory, the gaseous reactants are adsorbed on the surface of the solid catalyst. As a result, the concentration of reactants increases on the surface and hence the rate of the reaction increases. The theory is also able to explain the greater efficiency of a catalyst in the finely divided state, the action of catalytic promoters and poisons. So, today we heard a little bit about the phenomenon called adsorption. There are many more interesting aspects about adsorption we can learn, but for now it's goodbye from me.